Hi Libra, welcome to your September 2016 love reading. I'm doing a new spread, so I just did Virgos, and I had to start and stop several times because, it's such a new thing for me. So hopefully with yours I'll get it in the first go around. I wish they had a pause button for my camera so I could just, look at the reading without eating up time. And I'm going to take the bottom of the deck as the focus. So this is the Eight of Swords. Putting that right there. The Eight of Swords is all about feeling a sense of self-imposed restrictions. So this is your element. The swords relate to air. The swords relate to thought. Thoughts that you're having that are limiting beliefs and which don't serve you. Typically, when you see the Eight of Swords or the Nine of Swords, there's anxiety associated with it in some way. And I did pick the Nine of Swords. So why would there be anxiety? Well, I can't help but look at the astrology. And for the first few weeks of the month, you're going to have the sun in your 12th house. Right before your birthday, the sun is in your 12th house. And then some of those personal planets, and I don't have my ephemeris in front of me, so I don't know exactly what the dates are for those. But it's going to be like, if it isn't in September, like, some of those personal planets, that will be in late August maybe. And by the way, there is going to be a Mercury retrograde in Virgo, so that will be your 12th house. And so you're going to be having these, it's almost like stuff that you thought maybe you had dealt with dredging back up, because the 12th house is kind of psychological issues that you kind of tamp down, that you don't always deal with. So some people might say, oh, that's crappy. I don't want to have oppression as my overall theme. But let's look at what's going on, because sometimes the oppression, as I say, this is something that you're doing to yourself. It may not be anything particularly, catastrophic, especially because it's a minor arcana card. So it's like, it's really like the day-to-day energy. It's nothing that's a long-lasting trend. So don't look at it that way, but you can, if you're watching this in August, it's like you have this time to reflect on something that is probably already begun, because I'm going to talk about this row right here, which are past position cards. So we have the Lovers card. So this is like, it couldn't get any more literal when we're doing a love reading. Obviously, it can deal with a very, deep formed relationship, committed relationship, but sometimes this can deal with a Gemini individual, and sometimes this could just mean that you have a choice between people. Sometimes it is just a choice. But if it's a relationship, it may be a let's look at the other cards to get more of a handle on it. The Nine of Pentacles. This is the card of somebody who is very financially stable and doing well. It's a solitary energy because it's a 9. So let me see what this one represents. This is the Seven of Wands. This is a card of sometimes of having to defend yourself. It could mean that you did separate from somebody, and maybe you felt like you had no choice, that you had to leave. Maybe you didn't want to leave, but you were dealing with somebody. You tried to make it work, and you tried to do everything you could to get along with the person, and they, for whatever reason, were impossible to deal with. Because again, this is a card of someone who feels like, you know, they can't move. They can't make take any action. I feel also that for some of you, this may involve another person. Perhaps an earth sign individual is the other woman. If you are a woman and you're with a long-time relationship, especially, I would say this would be like a marital or another live-in situation. There might be an earth sign woman, a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn who is involved in all of this. And I feel that you don't want to take it anymore, that you are going to stand up for yourself. And sometimes this does mean, you know, going out on your own. Let me just keep going, because that was the past. And then the present, I might get even more information. So we have the Nine of Swords, the card of feeling, like I said, this is a card of insomnia, of like worry. But again, this is like more of a mental state. The Eight of Swords can actually be that you're stuck in a situation that you can't get out of. But the Nine of Swords, it's more on the mental level. And this is a current situation. So this is something that has been going on. And I do feel for some people, it does involve a third party. And it is really troubling you. Now, the card that went along with it is the Two of Cups. So what it could be, remember I said, or no, actually I said that with Virgo. We're going to have this Mercury retrograde in Virgo, which is the, you know, a sign ruled by Mercury. You may hear from someone, or the person that you're with may hear from somebody from their past. So it could be that's your partner reunited with an old lover, and this is what's causing the problem. Now, this card, if it does happen, it will be something, for some of you, it may be like a total shock. You may have never seen it coming. But because this is the current situation, when you look at these past cards, it may have been going on and you didn't know the whole time. And maybe that person, if you're with a Gemini and they were two-timing you, you may not have known, you know, what was happening, but you find out. The Tower card guarantees that you find out about it somehow. So I'm telling you in advance if you have a relationship and you're watching, if you're in a long-term relationship and you're watching this, then you must think that something is amiss. And so don't be surprised if you find something out. Don't ever allow yourself, if you know that something's wrong in your relationship, then use your intuition and realize that there may be, you know, think about the worst case scenario, but don't allow it to control you. Don't allow, you know, these cards that are related to thought, one of the things that you should do is meditate, because the air signs like Libra tend to live in their minds, and they think that they can intellectualize away their problems, and you can't, because emotions are irrational. Fears are irrational. A lot of times they're not coming from a clear-cut place. You may not know what's triggering you. The outcome is the Hangman, so there may be a period of time. You may just decide that you're going to allow events to unfold as they may. You may just decide, I'm going to stop controlling the situation, especially if you find out that your partner has reunited with a past lover. It may be something that your instincts tell you to fight, but you realize that that's not going to, you know, help you. And you're going to just leave it to God, let go and let God handle it, and not try to interfere. The cards that go along with that are the Knight of Wands, you may find that a fire sign individual is helpful, healing to you. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Maybe this is somebody who has already been there in some capacity, and maybe you turn to this person. This can indicate an affair. So I would say that it depends on the scenario, because honestly, if you find out that your partner has had an affair, I'm not the kind of person that thinks that it's a wise idea to jump into an affair yourself. It may be tempting to try to feel good about yourself or to try to distract yourself, but ultimately it could just lead to more chaos or, just confusion. However, it could be also telling you that you have to be brave. It's almost like this warrior energy in terms of whatever's happening, and you just have to suck it up. This card is kind of like you're hanging in the balance. You're kind of like in limbo, maybe, but it's not bad, because you may be tempted to try to do something to, as a cardinal sign, your first impulse is, what can I do to change the situation? Sometimes you can't. There's nothing you can do about it unless you just leave, and maybe you don't want to, or maybe you have a family. Maybe you can't necessarily leave at this moment. The person might literally be in Aries, this person, if there is a fire sign individual, because this represents that. The Emperor also relates to anyone who is maybe like a wise person. So some people may decide to file for divorce, and that makes them feel like they're in control of the situation. Maybe you do take some time out, but eventually you decide, yeah, this isn't happening, and I'm going to have to seek counsel from a lawyer or some kind of a person in a similar capacity. For other people, it may mean that the person who is in your corner is a soldier, is a law enforcement officer, somebody who's in that position. Now that could also be this, that could be kind of doubling that. In other words, there may be somebody in your life who happens to be in the military or in law enforcement, who is, maybe that person has always been there for you, but you've never really seen them in that light. Maybe you've always just kind of like thought of them platonically. Maybe that person was really the right person for you, and you kind of went with somebody else. And now you realize maybe this person isn't going to be in your life right now, but it's a realization of who is the better person for you. And I think it's really interesting, because in terms of we have 3 major arcana cards, and each one represents one facet: the past, which was the Lovers, the present, the Tower, and then the future, the Emperor. So it tells a story on its own, just those 3 cards, and these are like major events. You have this sense of being part of a couple. You have something shocking revealed to you that makes you feel that you're fractured within the relationship. And then you have a card that's related to law and order. So it may be either you're seeking out someone involved with the law so that you can dissolve your relationship, or that you look at the relationship from a standpoint of what is right and what is wrong, and what you deserve. And whether or not you decide to do anything at this time, you still have more of a clear-cut idea. You look at the progression from the chaos to that. There's like one is chaos, one is like totally knowing, exactly which end is up. And so, yeah, so it's very interesting, kind of dramatic a little bit, maybe, possibly. These cards are pretty dramatic as well, but I'm hoping that at least some of the cards resonated with you, maybe the past position cards, which you can prove out now as being what is going on with you. But in any case, Libra, if you would like a personal reading, click on the link below. I hope you have a wonderful September. Bye.